Hey, and welcome into the Cincinnati Bengals 7-round mock draft. Today we're going to be restarting the 7-round mock draft series from the scratch after the post-combine and coming up with the draft about a month away. We're going to get through every 32 teams in the NFL, give them a 7-round mock draft, try to do it at least daily, if not once every other day. And today, obviously, we're going to start off with the number one overall pick. Let me know which teams you want to see next. I don't really have to go in order. I'm just starting off in order to make things easier. So if you're a Bengals fan, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you feel about the draft. And let me know who you think your pick should be as well. But we're going to start off with the guy who's already on here. It's no surprise. Joe Burrow, the quarterback out of LSU, to be the new face of the franchise. Did not participate at the combine. He went there, got his measurements, and that was pretty much it. But you go over to what he did at LSU, and he is a monster. Do I even have to go over him again? I will. 60 touchdowns this season with only 6 interceptions, a 10-to-1 ratio. 5,671 yards. His last season in 2018, his junior year, wasn't even too poor for being a transfer quarterback. Almost 3,000 yards with 16 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Not the worst year you could have, especially as a transfer from Ohio State. I think that he found his niche last year and then came into this year hungry and ready. Heisman winner, national championship winner, and now the winner of the number one overall pick to be the face of the franchise for his hometown, or his home state of Ohio. I think Joe Burrow is going to be the pick here. I don't think anyone's arguing with it. You can lock this one in. Now we go around to the second round where they're going to be selecting Zach Bond, the edge rusher out of Wisconsin. Zach Bond is very good at what he does, and he's very athletic for the reasons that I'm about to show you. 6'3", 235. I mean, the guy had 19.5 tackles for loss and 12.5 sacks this last season. Just an absolute beast for Wisconsin. I mean, 75 total tackles as well. He has been a mauler. He was a redshirt freshman, but has played his last 3 years, started his last 2, and he's really shown a big improvement from his first year as a starter to his second, and it's been a very big ride for him, especially because when you look at what he did at the combine as well, 4.65 at the 40-yard dash. It was pretty solid speed for an edge rusher. 24 reps on the bench, 32.5-inch vert, and 115 inches on the broad jump. Very athletic. He's going to be able to get around those edges well. I think that a lot of people are kind of trying to figure out if they want to slip him in that first round or not. I think it's possible that a team, maybe like a Seattle, goes for him. I think that there's just other talent at other positions that might just be a better player available. So it's possible someone might trade into the first round late and try and get Zach Bond. But if he's sitting there at pick 33, I don't see a reason the Bengals pass him up. Let him play with those guys on there that you got, Geno Atkins, Chris Dunlap. I think he's going to be way better than what you thought Sam Hubbard would be. He's going to be able to pretty much slide in there and make impact from day one. I think that's what the Bengals want. Is they're not really in a rebuild stage. They've been signing a lot of people, and they're getting ready for this draft. So Zach Bond, coming out of Wisconsin, is going to be the second-round pick for the Bengals. Going into round number 3, I have them selecting offensive tackle Isaiah Wilson at pick 65 out of Georgia. Wilson is a absolute tank of a person, 6'7", 340 pounds. Him and Andrew Thomas really held down those tackle positions for Fromm last season, and were another big reason on why Swift was such a successful running back at the college level as he was. And obviously Andrew Thomas is the better of the tackles. No one's going to dispute that. He was a complete beast for the past 4 years that he's been there. But Isaiah Wilson has been very solid as well. I mean, like I said, just an absolute mauler. The reason I think Isaiah Wilson would be fitting here well is because you need a pretty much rebuild on that offensive line. There's really not much talent there other than maybe your last pick, Jonah Williams. You're going to need to, you spend a pick on Billy Price. You hopefully maybe he works out. He's been having injury problems his career. I think that Isaiah Wilson is somebody that you paid Bobby Hart a big bag last year. He's probably going to be a cut candidate coming into his last year of his contract next year, I believe. So I think that you get a guy like Isaiah Wilson, slide him in where you can and when you can, but ultimately he's going to take over for Bobby Hart, if not this year, probably next year when you get that contract off the books. And I think that he's going to be able to, if you let him sit that first year, maybe throw him in there when needed, or if an injury happens, just let him be a depth guy for that first year. He'll slide into that tackle role very well and probably be your starting left or right tackle, depending on where you want to put him, for the next 5 years, if anything. I think he's that good to learn behind somebody. So Isaiah Wilson in the third round at pick 65, I think is a very good pick for the Bengals here. Staying with the offensive line and the same reasons why, Keith Ishmael, apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, out of San Diego State at pick 107. I put him as an offensive lineman because he was a center, but I think he could play in the guards as well. He did not participate in the bench press, which is really what I look at for offensive linemen, but he was a very successful lineman at San Diego State, 6'3", 310. Like I said, this offensive line needs to be rebuilt. You spent that pick on Billy Price. Hopefully he can fix his injuries, but if you need Keith Ishmael to be a center, he could be a center. If you need him to be a guard, he could be a guard. And similar to Isaiah Wilson's situation, you have guys there that are ready to play. If Ishmael isn't ready to play right away, which I think that he possibly even could be, just because the center market's so low, that's why he's falling to the 4th round. I think that if you need to let him sit out a little bit, you let him sit out a little bit. You put him in there when you can. Like I said with Wilson, maybe have him wait a year, just plug him and play him if you can. Maybe if somebody gets injured, you slide him in. I think that he's going to be a good depth guy for a year, maybe 2. But I think that he's officially going to be a complete starting caliber player at some point in the next few years, if not his first year. So Ishmael going to the Bengals, helping out the offensive line. Now you have 4 draft picks that should be solid with Jonah Williams and Billy Price already there, and Wilson and Ishmael. I think that those are very good linemen to at least start the offensive line built and go from there in the next few years. Then we move on over to linebacker Michael Walker out of Fresno State. The reason I love Walker as a prospect, even though it's in the 5th round, is he is what the prototypical linebacker of this day and age in the NFL needs to start transitioning to. Only 230 pounds at 6'3". You can see he's kind of a slim, slender, buff build, and that's what I like about it because he's athletic. He's been a 2-year player at Fresno State. He played defensive end his first year, which is very good, getting around the edge. He had 13.5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. And then this last year, when he moved out to linebacker, he upped his tackles by about 10 tackles. He still had 9 tackles for loss and still had 2.5 sacks. He's making an impact on different positions. You can play him in the middle. You can play him on the edge. You can pretty much put him where you are, and he's going to go head hunting for a lineman, and that's for a lineman or a running back, to be honest. But the reason I like him, 4.65 speed, 20 reps on the bench press. He's physical, he's strong, he's athletic, and that's what you need in today's day and age with the NFL. I think that he's somebody that, if not right away, you can put on special teams, and he can make his impact maybe on kickoff, punt, whatever you need him to do there. And then from there, you can transition him to more defensive route. That's what happens with a lot of these linebacker positions, corner positions. Those athletic guys that they have, they like putting out there to make the hits on the kickoffs and kind of go from there. I think Walker's going to be able to maybe even make an impact right away. The linebacker core could improve a lot for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that having him there is going to be a very good depth position. You can rotate him in and out throughout the year, and I think that he'll progress very well as well. Then we move on over to the 6th round, and I have them selecting running back Darren Evans out of Appalachian State. A lot of people were looking at Darren Evans to be a very big producer at the Combine. He did okay. 4.41 speed, which is very solid. Obviously, it's not John Ross and Henry Ruggs speed, but 4.41 is very solid for running back. 20 reps on the bench press, 37 inches on the vertical, and 125 inches on the broad jump. Very athletic, very quick, and he made his impact at Appalachian State. Obviously, Appalachian State's not the biggest of the conference, but the 5'11", 200-pound running back played for 3 years for them, and this last year, almost 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns. You didn't hear that wrong. 18 touchdowns at the running back position. Just an absolute monster when it comes to that. And what I like about him, too, is that he added some pass catching to his game as well. He added 5 touchdowns in the air as well to 198 yards on 21 catches. So he's not got the best hands, but they're not brick hands. And that's what you kind of need with a guy that you're not going to be playing. You have Joe Mixon. You just need some depth behind him. Obviously, you don't know what's going to happen. You usually want to have 4 running backs on the roster. I think Darren Evans can win that 3rd or 4th running back spot in training camp and the preseason, whenever that happens to happen with this COVID-19 stuff. We don't really know when anything's going to happen, but I think he can win a piece on that offense, and I think over time you might be able to develop him into a good 3rd down back, or maybe even just a good pass-catching back out of the backfield. Somebody back up. I don't ever see him transitioning to a starter, but with running backs today in today's day and age, you never really know who's going to be the best because it seems like everyone's looking in the 4th or 5th round for their starting caliber running back. So Darren Evans in the 6th round I think is a good find for the Bengals, and he'll be able to add solid depth for the Bengals as well. Then in the 7th round, I have him selecting JaJuan Johnson, wide receiver out of Oregon. He transferred from Penn State, and he did pretty solid at Oregon. He didn't really have the most opportunities, which was tough because he transferred after 4 years at Penn State, where he just wasn't getting the looks that he thought he deserved. His last year at Penn State, only 25 catches for 352 and 1 touchdown. This season at Oregon, not too much better. Only added 5 more catches, 30 catches for 467 yards, so a big increase in yards per catch. and he added 4 touchdowns as well. So he never really got the production that you thought a guy like him might, but he's got a solid build, 6'4", 231, running a 4.58, 33-inch vertical. So I think he's best used in a slot type. But obviously when you're getting a 7th-round receiver, you're pretty much looking to use them for special teams, maybe for a good second team on the practice squad. I think a guy like JaJuan Johnson might be able to win a spot for you, might be able to make an impact either in special teams or just as a guy who can fill in if some receivers start going down, because injuries have been an issue for the Bengals at the receiver position. John Ross has been going down a lot. AJ Green's usually always injured, which is unfortunate for them. But I think that getting a guy like JaJuan Johnson would help out a lot more than the other players that you could get in the 7th round. You could always go for a kicker later if you need. But I think with your only 7th-round pick, might as well get some guy that can help you at the special teams position, and with a position as injury-prone as the receiver core in Cincinnati, I think getting a guy like JaJuan Johnson might help that out. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who would you draft if you were the Bengals? Remember, these are all my opinions, so they are not correct. This is most likely not going to be pick for pick. And I think that it's just very fun for us to go through all of these. So let me know if you're excited by smashing the like button on the video if you're ready for the next 7th-round mock draft series. I'll be dropping a new episode every day. If I see the likes going up, I'll try and do 2 a day if possible. But the Bengals are the first team going. So like I said, if you did like the video, please hit the like button. If you didn't, make sure you refresh the page and check it out a second time. Let me know how you feel about it then. And of course, without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video.